23 for Phil.
3!
You with advantage, you rolled the 3.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage.
2.
4!
Excellent. Even better.
We return to the adventuring party.
Okay.
Sneak around. Sneak.
Okay, they're coming.
Run away. Run away.
That's the first time I've just like had fun with a match in a long time.
Okay, here we go. Princess of the Apocalypse, episode 21. From the northwest, within the Cryptogarden forest, flew Aarakocra that battled the winds and torrential downpour, an unnatural storm. She climbed above the storm clouds, still pressing against the strong winds above. She felt out with her magical senses and noted a faint negative pulse of magical energy near the center of the storm and steered towards it. Phil, flying atop Goose Springsteen, was soaked by heavy rain as he flew through the same storm towards Westbridge in the hopes that he might find Hilda. Galloping from the west rode a lone soldier heading towards Redlark. He too was met by some unnatural winds that gradually grew in force the closer he got to Redlark. Making it to town, he made his way to a house owned by Imdar Relvunder, his contact within the town. After introducing himself as Kainen, Imdar seemed exacerbated that only one man was sent by the order to investigate the strange goings-on within Derzian Valley. Imdar explained that odd peoples had been moving about in somber hills, along with the weather that had been increasingly difficult and unnatural. However, he didn't have enough evidence to whether there was sinister culprits involved in these events and asked Kainen to investigate further. Unfortunately for Kainen, his horse had run off during their interaction, so he made his way on foot to the nearest inn for the night. A tall, angry-built woman marched her way into the inn, demanding, "Where is Hilda?" The innkeep didn't know Hilda's whereabouts, but assured her that she would be likely pass through here if she were in Redlark herself. Frustrated, the tall woman waited impatiently at the bar, not even bothering to drink from the flask offered by the innkeep. The Aarakocra closed in on that sinister magical energy focused on the center of the storm. A bright blue glow pressed past both the Aarakocra and Phil, flying through the same storm. Its appearance was followed by an explosive cacophony of lightning and increasingly forceful rain that threatened to throw both Phil and the Aarakocra to the earth. Sensing the danger surrounding them, they both descended towards the town of Westbridge. The town was becoming inundated by floodwaters, threatening to swallow up the residential area. Phil finally noticed the barn owl-type Aarakocra land near him. The Aarakocra's attention was mainly focused on Phil's vulture, who she greeted with several friendly squeaks and chirps. But their interaction was cut short by the sound of the cries of a young child calling for help. Calling to action, Phil and the Aarakocra, Havi, found a trapped child within a house with water levels rapidly rising around her. Havi reached out and collected the child from the waters. Seeing that Phil was no harm to the child, Havi handed her over to him, taking off to a safe area while Phil and the child followed on Goose Springsteen behind her. Within the inn, the tall lady's patience was wearing very thin and waiting for the possible appearance of Hilda and Ruldantha. Kainen introduced himself to her and inquired about why she was waiting for Hilda, hoping to glean some information that may coincide with his own investigation. Lady Pierce showed him the letter she received from her daughter, Guy Pierce, a few days ago. A stranger entered the inn shortly after mentioning that the Riverguard keep a day east from here was burnt to the ground. Fortunately for Lady Pierce, Hilda appeared at the door from the storm. Hilda, seeing Lady Pierce's impatience, explained that she intended to get in contact with Locke through the help of a cleric who will be at the chapel tomorrow morning. She also entailed the events surrounding her previous incarceration at the monastery and her cultist captors. It was at this point that Kainen introduced himself to them, asking for further details surrounding these events, which Hilda eagerly provided. Afterwards, she offered the group room and board for the night. Lady Pierce's impatience left for the chapel regardless of the weather, hoping to catch the cleric early. Havi, Phil, and the small girl Tabitha rested the night away from the storm under the cozy shade of Havi's comforting wing. The next morning, they set off for Redlark, where Tabitha's cleric uncle lived. They landed at the chapel where Hilda, Ruldantha, Lady Pierce, and Kainen stood waiting for the cleric. Phil was both relieved and terrified at seeing Hilda, freezing in place. Hilda asked Phil about the rest of the group, but was interrupted by Lady Pierce, who immediately manhandled Phil, demanding to know where Guy was. Phil, in a moment of panic and fear, turned the large woman into a small barn owl. The cleric appeared at this point, to which Tabitha immediately called out to, embracing her Uncle Noel. Hilda, exasperated, spoke to the cleric, offering a lock of Locke's hair to contact her niece. Phil turned very pale when he recognized what Hilda held in her hand. And let the drama begin, drama!
And it's gnome handled, not man handled.
Well, no, she's human, and she's the one who's handling you, so sure.
I'll allow that.
And now we're gonna get her done. What's going on here?
So basically, I just pasted a chapel right next to where the tavern is. So we're in the same town, but we're at the chapel, so to speak. Theater of the mind and all that shit.
Oh, that's clever.
Go to the chapel, go to get mad.
I was able to collect everybody, and they are physically in the same position they were previously at the tavern. We've just now moved to chapel.
Yeah, a little Tabitha.
Little Tabitha.
That was
She's
smart, shrinking that down.
Well, she's super small, but
Yeah.
it'll do. We understand what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Small.
Now I did watch the end of the video, but I forgot what we left off at.
Well, that's because we kind of cut out. Since you were interrupted, we decided to save the interaction for this session.
Okay, so Noel has been told by Hilda that she's got a lock of hair from Locke, and he's come to the chapel as he would do in his normal routine, but he's been overwhelmed by the presence of everybody there, and it's at this moment he's overwhelmed and he's astounded by what's going on. But then his attention and mind keenly goes back to Tabitha. And he asks her, "Where's Mom and Dad?" Tabitha responds, They're not here." "But how did you get here?" And she points to Phil and Havi and says, they brought me here. And he turns his head to Phil and Havi and says, I appreciate. I don't understand the situation. Why is she here?
You stole my niece? Kill him.
Phil's like, this slight temporary change has kind of kept him. He's been on the edge of a panic attack, but this slight change has kept him from the edge, and he kind of looks at Havi to see if Havi wants to explain or let him explain.
Havi just nods toward Phil.
You are very low volume, by the way. I've got you 200%, can barely hear you. FYI.
Oh, sorry.
That's better.
Big rain, lots of rain, water raising, little girl trapped in house, bird safe girl, we fly here.
He turns to Tabitha, and Tabitha looks up and she says, It was really heavy rain and they took Mom and Dad." And you see a look of distress come over him. He's like, "Who took your Mom and Dad? What do you mean they took your Mom and Dad?" And she's like, the people in the robes, and they put a box in town, and the rain came down, and the house was filling with water, and they took me out, and we slept in a cave, and I said you were here, and so we came here. And he turns back to Havi and Phil, and he asks, I'm sorry. Rain? What? What is she talking about?
Rain, waterfall from sky. You know, lots of rain, lots of rain and flooding and.
But what do you mean, lots of rain and flooding? I know the weather's been weird, but what do you mean? Elaborate for me, please.
You know, a drop of water that can fall on you and get wet, right? Imagine like
You give you a bemused look. Like, go on.
imagine like 10,000 drops hitting you at the same time, repeatedly, over and over and over, like a waterfall, like the plumbing in the sky broke and it sprung a leak and all this water came gushing down. A lot of water, more than I've ever seen. I don't know about
Havi
Bird?
sort of straightens up a little, looks at the cleric, and just says, "An unnatural rain was summoned."
Yeah, that.
Okay. And he looks at everybody and says, please, come inside. Let's. It's still damp out here. At least there's some warmth in the chapel. Please, come inside.
Wait. Before I'm allowed inside, everybody. And Phil is going to do two things in rapid succession, hopefully before anyone can react. First thing, and this is mostly unconscious, is he's going to cast haste on himself. Just because he kind of wants to get this over with.
If you do that, you lose concentration on polymorph.
Exactly. That's why I'm hoping to get to the second thing before there's a reaction. So the second thing is he's just going to belt out a lot of words. He's really nervous as the owl poofs into the mother.
The big lady.
An angry big lady.
Dommy
Mommy.
And he goes,
hurting herself.
yeah. We fought and took a rest and Croker was gone, so we went to look for him and he was in a pool, and then Snakehead guy came and killed Locke and turned Croker and Guy into statues and knocked me down, but I came back and finished them and there was no way to help anyone and there was more baddies and I was really hurt and I ran out and found Vulture named Goose and flew nearly dead trying to find help and found Owl, little girl, angry muscle lady, and now you guys. And then the haste drops, lethargy kicks in, and he face plants on the ground and just whimpers.
What's this?
What a recap!
He's like, suck it out.
Havi picks Phil up.
He does not resist.
I apologize. I hit the wrong button and now I have to repopulate the board with everybody.
Yeah, they got scared off. Like, what the hell? Ah, run away.
Yeah. No, we weren't haste. He was haste.
I was so fast, everyone looked gone for a minute. I don't know.
Well, fortunately, my rage has ended.
I'm sure you have another.
Yeah. Lady's just kind of like stand there and stare at Phil as he crawls into a ball on the ground.
No, Havi's holding him.
Propping him up, maybe.
I came for help. I didn't know what to do.
She's like trying to contain the anger. Just, ugh.
She got the information at least. In a
Yep.
rush.
Yeah, now they can. He's like waiting for the death blow now. It's like, okay, I'm now for my punishment.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
kneel
sorry.
down. Oh, sorry.
Continue.
I was gonna kneel down, just like grab him by the cuff again. Just uncaring for what polymorph may come next. And she's just gonna be like, "You left her there. You're gonna take me to her. And we're gonna go now."
There were more baddies, and I don't know how to unstone anyone, and I was trying to help get, find spell or scroll or wand to unspell, and, that's why I came here. We need that first before we go.
Before you can push Phil around,
I'm not trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
put the fear of death into him.
Knowing his backstory,
I
he's
think it
got...
was pre-existing.
He's nothing but perpetual death fear, this guy.
Hilta comes around and puts a very calming hand on Lady Pierce, and she casts calm emotions on you.
Fuck Hilda!
It's like, you're ruining my vibe.
And then she calmly punches me. Whack.
Hold on, hold on. I gotta look up this spell. Give me a charisma saving throw, please.
That's you, mommy, dummy.
Ooh.
Dummy, mommy. Sorry.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait.
It's an area effect.
Nah, she's not willing.
I need everybody to roll me a charisma saving throw, please. It has a range area of 20 feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
That's a
pretty
nat 20 on my end.
So Phil saves.
For Rizla,
Lady
was it?
fails.
What'd you get?
That's an 18. I'm like,
11.
Havi fails as well. Okay, so Lady Pierce and Havi all of a sudden feel really calm, and Lady Pierce, you stand there and you take a breath and you just breathe in and you exhale slowly, non-menacingly, and just feel really relaxed for a moment, and you just slowly begin to process the words that Phil rambled off. And Hilta says to Phil, "Sorry, what did you say about Locke? Can you repeat that for me, please?"
He reaches in his pack. He's still very skittish because he hit a natural 20 on that calm emotions, but that's just how he usually is anyway. And he very carefully pulls out the pick and kind of sets it on the ground. Snakehead guy killed her. I couldn't stop it, but I killed him. But I couldn't bring her back. I tried. I really tried.
do you have the lock as well?
Hilta,
Sorry.
oh, well, that's on Phil whether he does or does not.
Whether he does or does not what?
Have
Bring
that
the lock of hair that you got from Locke.
Oh yeah, he does have that. But I thought it. Yeah.
But that's up to your character, whether he brings that out or not. And you see an extreme look of distress and sadness come over Hilta as, like, you see her soul slump to the ground as she puts on a brave, strong face, and she asks, you said you You got the bastard that did this.
Snakehead guy. Yeah. That's his weapon right there. And he does pull out the lock and kind of show. I should have grabbed more, but this is all I could think of to grab. You know, I was panicked at the time, and I was trying to. I couldn't find anyone to help us, and there were more baddies there, and I was really hurt, and so Havi can testify, and got out of there. But yeah, he kind of just whimpers again.
She reaches forward a hand just to grab the lock of hair from you.
He hands it over.
And she clenches it in her hand and rubs her fingers through it and up and down it. And she grabs the other lock of hair that she's got and she holds them side by side and she runs them through her fingers slowly and just she mutters under her breath, but you can vaguely pick it up. It's like this be her hair for sure. And she looks to the cleric, Noel, and she asks, Can we do anything? And he turns to her and says, I mean, there's other clerics more powerful than me, but this is beyond me. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. And you see Hilta just stand there stoically. Like she wants to cry, but she's fighting it back. Almost like you can feel it, you can sense it, but she's very much expressionless.
As much as I hate Hilta right now, I'm pretty upset with that news that she's lost someone close to her. So
surprisingly, even though you've heard that news, like it passes through you, but you don't feel negatively about this.
No,
Because calm emotions, it's weird, but you're processing this logically. Like, what's the next step you can take? How can you get your daughter back? She's turned into stone, but you don't feel like you're hoping there's a way to get her back.
Okay. Well, it doesn't last for that long, right?
It lasts 1 minute. We're still. Is this just still
In the moment, yeah.
When it ends, it's all gonna come flooding back. The anger,
It's literally the elevator music to rage.
Okay, well, hold on to that rage for a moment. Hold on to that rage. Hilta like stops for a moment and she goes and puts her arms around a reluctant Phil and she says, Thank you for killing that fucking bastard. I know you would have done all you can, but sometimes all you can is never enough. I know from experience, so.
That was a trigger phrase. He just suddenly just blinks out and it's like, it's never enough. Never enough.
And she, as she hears you say that, she pulls you in closer and tighter in her embrace. And she's strong. She's really strong. And this is one of the strongest hugs you've ever received.
So I got her on one side and the bird on the other side.
Well, no.
Havi was holding me.
Forgot about that. Sorry. Havi, what do you do in this situation?
I was just about to say, Havi will sort of step back with all of the commotion going on and look to Goose Springsteen and see that this news has affected him as well, I presume.
Bird.
Yes.
Yay!
And hearing like a sad whimpering honk, Harvey goes to console Goose, and yeah, just to be with him.
No worries. Feel free to move your token accordingly. And Will, I need a roll from you, please.
Okay.
I'm just deciding what it is. Please give me a wisdom roll, just straight wisdom.
Splash, it looks like you're attacking Goose.
I know. It looks like he's screaming.
Yeah, it does.
Hug!
Poor
Hug,
Goose.
I say, hug!
That's a 6.
Okay, with a 6, you.
Die. You said he had the strongest hug he's ever had. Well, let's find out.
Blammo.
Pop, pop.
Okay, so I had a thought in mind and it sort of escaped me. I'm trying to reconsider how I'm doing this.
Is this everything coming flooding back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, in a bad way, obviously, because I rolled low. I'm kind of picturing like the last minute sort of flashes through my mind like a slideshow.
Your thoughts are rapid and erratic. How you deal and process that is up to Lady Pierce.
I think a reckless rage. No, sorry. What's the one that ends badly? I think it's a frenzy rage.
Frenzy. Gosh.
Well, you've got your ability to rage, but while raging, you can choose frenzy. You can make a single melee attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this fight. When your rage ends, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion.
A stomp. Do the Hulk smash.
Give me an attack roll, please.
Just drop to my knees and boom.
Actually, give me an athletics roll, please.
Come on. That's 25.
And so you do 6 bludgeoning damage to the ground as you make a small impact crater below you. Proceed.
While screaming. Ah! Boom! That's me for the next hour.
Now you have 1 level of exhaustion.
Yep. Let me just...
I've added it for you.
Okay, yeah, I was just clicking the rage button as well. Cool.
Click the rage button, yes. It's like
Get emotional regulation, just click the rage button.
Yeah, it's like an Iron Man thing in the middle of his chest is this rage button. Oh, it'd be like a Bane from Batman.
Yes!
That one.
So Hilta stops this hug, but she still holds on to you, and she holds you by your shoulders, the left hand on the left, right on the right, and just brings you face to face with her, trying to get eye contact, trying to get
Get your
a
full attention.
response out of you. She's like, "Dearie, tell me again, what happened to your friends? What are the other two?"
Stone, hardness, statues. Frog is now Frog Pond statue, and Guy is Poe's statue, and there's still a chance. I just don't have the magic or the scroll to fix that.
And Hilda looks over to Brildanthar and to Noel the cleric, and then looks back at you and says, "Was that bastard like a snake creature or something?"
Yeah, snake. Yeah, I had snake hair. I don't know how they eat. It's weird. I can't remember if it was a snake body or a regular body. But yeah, they turn pretty fast. Locke tried using my mirror to stop it, but it wasn't enough, and I made its head explode, and that's all I could do. And but there may still be time, but there are other badges there, so they may have taken the statues. I don't know.
It's at this point Tabitha is wrapped around the back of Noel's leg, intimidated and scared of Lady Pierce.
Oh.
And Hilda turns her head over to Brildanthar and then back to Noel and says, Medusa? Like, we're questioningly, and Noel sort of nods his head slowly and says, "Yeah, I think that tracks." And he's puzzling, and he starts muttering to himself, and he's like thinking about the petrification. You can hear him talking about stone petrification. He's like, greater restoration, greater restoration. We can. And he starts searching his satchel, and he goes, and he pulls out a scroll and goes, I have one scroll.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Can we Xerox copies,
I'm a bit-
maybe?
Let's just say I'm a bit exhausted right now.
He goes, I'm sure we can get more of these. It shouldn't be a problem, but they do come with their cost.
So I asked, how much of a cost?
One of these, even at the fairest of value, is 7,300 gold.
I just look at the rest of the group, because this is all just outside stuff going on here. I'm just letting these people do their thing, but yeah, just watching, see what the hell's going on here. A lot of emotions going on.
Phil nods because he's kind of held. He nods towards the Iron Fang. He's like, "I'll donate that for the cause if that helps. I don't have any coin on me though."
First hit's free.
He didn't say anything about the cost of the one he has.
First one's always free.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
You ain't a regular at this pub, I'm sorry. Trying to work out if Iron Fang... Okay, so pausing in character movements and stuff like that. I don't actually see or know of a gold value for Iron Fang.
What type of legend? What type of weapon is it? Is it an uncommon, legendary?
Great question.
That might help. Oh yeah, it is legendary. So that
Yes,
might
it
help
is.
determine what does the cost of legendaries go for these days.
Yeah, legendary is definitely up there.
Yeah, he didn't bring the letter for Hilda that Locke wanted, so he brought a pickaxe. That's helpful. A war pick.
I'm finding all sorts of ridiculous prices on these items.
Well, they are unique and one of a kind, so.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not going to get you what they're worth. If I mean, I'm seeing prices from. Well, I'm seeing prices up to like 250,000 gold.
Sold.
Yeah, but I mean, then I'm seeing some as low as 5 to 10k. So
That's all he's got to offer. Plus, he did save the girl, but he didn't mention that as a bonus or discount option.
What about the wand as well? Can I up the price? Big trade.
He's just now being a shake weight for Hilda.
no, Hilda's very calm and very steady. Like, she's a strong lady and she's not quivering whatsoever. She's really proud of you for supposedly executing the Medusa that took Luck away from her. Tell you what I can do.
Well, for a 10.
Actually, I don't have my
Don't
dice out.
tempt Oh wow, bring that out. That's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
Careful, it'll
Your
bite you.
face is pretty.
Aw, stop. I bet you said it to all the girls.
I do. I haven't met an ugly woman yet.
No.
So for context, Phil has offered the Iron Fang mace. Is that correct?
Yes. He was going to
Um,
offer that up anyway because he didn't plan on using that. He's not a melee kind of gnome.
I mean, Noel looks at the mace and says, "Craftsmanship on this is quite nice. I mean, I can definitely trade you the scroll for the mace."
He looks back at Lady Pearson, nods vigorously.
She's just sort of like on her hands and knees, just staring at the ground,
Aw.
sort of breathing heavy.
Her hands are stuck in the earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mind processing. Sorry to make you do this so early in the session. He's rolling for intent, folks. Maybe.
No, I have not yet. I am messaging
maybe
some people though.
Or maybe like a D100 or something.
So he
Now, real quick.
Yep.
We did talk about his background, not his background, feature, and I don't know if that adds to this.
whose feature?
Phil's.
Let me have a look at Phil. Which one are you talking about?
Haunted one. Those who look into your eyes can see you have faced unimaginable horror, and you are no stranger to darkness. Though they may fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you, unless you've shown yourself to be a danger to them.
So, Noel's not a commoner.
True.
Neither is Hilta, but they are. I mean, Hilta's shown you warmth and gratitude.
Yeah. He recognizes that.
Undoubtedly, like, for lack of a better term, she's showing you a lot of love at the moment. You don't know this, but so sorry, processing multiple things at the moment.
Yeah. And if I don't know, you don't have to share it.
No. You see there's a reluctance in Noel to do this trade. He's like, I mean, I can. It's not something I usually do, but in a manner of dire circumstance such as this, I can do this trade. And he offers the scroll for the wall pick.
I definitely want to help. But are you sure?
He says, I mean, I don't usually do this, but I think in this case I can at least make one exception. I can't speak on behalf of my brethren and what another scroll would cost, but
Fair.
you're at least looking at 7,300 gold.
Yeah, I mean, if I can save my friends, I'll do anything.
And he holds out the scroll towards you.
He's still being held by the
No.
shoulders. Oh well.
Hilta's let you do this interaction.
Okay, yeah. Then he'll take the scroll in.
And he takes the war pick off you, so remove that from your inventory, please.
Absolutely.
Powerful weapon.
The utmost power.
Can't even live in space. That's a bunch of cool stuff in it.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh well. Makes you speak a language as well. I didn't expect.
Well, I also didn't like the it heightens the wilder's destructive nature, so it makes you kind of break things more fun or more commonly.
So it would have been great for a barbarian, maybe?
Yeah.
A barbarian.
Yeah. Barbarian.
Yeah, don't give the rager more rage, please.
As long as I'm not the target.
Yeah, exactly. Very powerful. Yeah, I was looking at what you were looking at, Lee, like the whole like prices of like legendary things. Like, geez, it kind of explodes in some areas.
It depends on who you talk to, but I mean, it is somewhat a cursed item as well.
Yeah.
So taking that into consideration.
And Phil will be like, "Thank you," and he'll look at Hilda for kindness. "Thank you too. I don't feel I deserve it, but I appreciate it." And he looks over at Lady Pearson. Maybe we can at least help Guy now, and find a way for Dr. Croker as well. So at some point.
She's just gonna like sort of look up because she's still like a bit exhausted now. She's like, just use it on your friend and we'll bring my daughter back somewhere else.
Guy is my friend. Guy is saved my
Whoever
life
the
many
other one
times.
is. Yes, and it cost her her own. You had another friend who was petrified. Use that We'll turn to stone. Use that on him, and we'll
Let's
just
get there first and see.
bring her back
where they're
somewhere
at.
else. And she's like, fine, whatever. Just take me there. Show me where it is.
He looks around. I don't remember which direction again.
I
He doesn't know this world. He's never been outside. He was on a bird and it flew in a direction.
then ask the bird.
Does Phil say this out loud?
Yeah.
He probably does.
Oh, no, wait. Saying, I don't know which direction, he says that out loud. Saying this is his first time outside in this world, he doesn't fully know that or understand that yet. He's still, there's a lot of things he still hasn't figured out or can figure out.
Hilta looks at him and is just like, don't worry, sweetie, I know the way. And she turns to Havi and says, you know this area well.
And Havi just nods.
Do you know where the Feather Gale Spire be?
And he just
Sorry.
indicates. He moves his wing to point in the direction of the spire.
Right, well, it's about a day and a half travel that way. And then across the chasm, you'll see there's a way through to this. It's a monastery, Sacred Stone Monastery. You go through that, you get through there, then you go down a level, and there's a passageway that leads you to some sort of temple. I'm sure that's based on what you've told me. That's where I came from. I mean, maybe you can at least get
place. Yeah.
you can at least get Phil over there, and I mean, best of luck. You can hopefully retrieve what you need to retrieve.
Would she have also mentioned the tunnel that she came from, the other entrance?
Well, isn't that what they came out of? I thought that's what he was referencing.
No. Hilta elaborates that that entrance is fairly concealed. It would be hard to find, and the monastery itself would be easier to find and get what you need from it.
So when Havi hears the Sacred Stone Monastery,
Well, she just says monastery. She doesn't say Sacred Stone Monastery.
okay, never mind then.
Yeah, she doesn't know the lore surrounding it. I know where you're going with that.
Now, Phil
Okay.
will add, be careful. There's still people in there, and they're trying to do something. Ogre Mark? I don't know. So just be prepared, because it's not a fun place to be. Trust me. I know.
Noel pipes up. Urgamok? What do you mean, Urgamok?
You know, a stone creature. I've only seen like the statue looking of them, but there's something about Ogre Mark, and
You
I don't know
hear a low rumbling hiss coming
Whoa.
from Havi.
I'm sorry.
Do I recognize Ogre?
It's the only name he remembers, I think, of that place.
Give me a history check, DC 15.
Well, that's cocked. It was on a 15 and 5. Like, well, damn it. Let's try again. You know what? Maybe. Oh, 14.
Oh,
The name sounds familiar, but that's as far as I get.
You're not familiar with it.
Mhm.
Oh. Oh.
Does Havi do anything else?
I don't know if I can do this. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Welcome to D&D.
But Phil's going to get a little distance, and he's going to like hold up his fingers, like just wait, and then he just pauses and like, I forgot, I don't know. Well, I was going to cast a spell, but I realized it requires a lockbox worth at least 400 gold pieces, and he does not have that, so he can't cast that spell. So I was going to do something, but then I'll just say he kind of had memory loss and forgot what he was going to do.
Just like real life for
Yeah.
me.
I forgot that needed a reagent.
So you all sort of hear this low rumbling hiss come from Havi, and his demeanor has gone from comforting Goose Springsteen to his eyes wide and just pitch black. And it's not menacing, but you can tell that Havi is ready to fight. And he sort of stands tall and looks at Phil and says, "What do you know of Ogremok?"
Yeah. Get on it. Get in on him.
Fuck him up.
It's a statue, and they worship it, and I don't know what they're doing with it. They're doing something. I didn't get it. I didn't ask questions. But that's the main theme of the place is prisoners in Ogremok.
This monastery worship Ogremok.
Yeah, especially Snakehead guy. They was very proud of Ogremok.
We must go.
No, we must fly. Fly, fools.
Fly, you fools!
Very dangerous.
I'll look to Null and ask him, do you know of this Ogremok? I do not. I'm not familiar with this.
Supposed
Does
to be.
Havi hear this?
That's up to you.
Alright. Havi uncomfortably quickly spins his head the way owls do and just looks like he's looking through your soul with these just pitch black eyes. And says, Ogremok is earth cult filth.
And Noel was about to respond and just points to Harvey and. Well, that's one explanation. I've heard that it's an earth cult demigod kind of folklore story. I really don't know much more.
Do you think these cultists would be something involved with this weather too? If they're involved with a possible demigod?
I mean, the weather's been quite strange. I definitely never seen this kind of thing before. And
has your order been looking into this kind of thing, or is this not bit enough for your attention?
it's not on the radar, but it's at this moment he picks up Tabitha and he's like, so he's lost for words. He wants to ask questions, Tabitha, but he just like he's holding her up and he just pulls her in real close for a big hug instead. And she's like, do you think Mum and Tabitha says, do you think Mum and Dad are coming back? And no response. I really don't know. I just don't know, sweetie. I don't know.
I'll look to Tabitha and go, don't worry, little one. We'll get your parents back. Won't we? And I'll look back at Phil.
Yeah. He has no idea. He doesn't know where they are, where they went to, if they're alive. But in this situation, he just like, yeah, right, absolutely.
Havi asks broadly to the group, do any of you have experience with the Earth cult?
I'm gonna probably say no.
They're a bunch of meanies and put people in jail and make them dig, and Elton knows more as much as I do.
Doesn't matter. They'll feel my fists anyway.
They're not to be underestimated.
Hilton might know a little bit too.
Hilda doesn't have much information to recall. Like, well, okay. I mean, all I can say is they kept me prisoner, and well, Phil here was a prisoner too, and him and his friends they got me out, and but they were treacherous bastards. They barely fed us anything.
Yeah, and they kept trying to kill us over and over.
Yeah, I'm just glad we got out of there with our lives.
Any followers of Ogremok are only concerned with elemental chaos. Ogremok is the prince of evil earth. And he
And-
cannot be allowed to succeed.
Noel turns to Havi and says, but that doesn't explain the rain or the flooding or the wind. I mean, I know there's been spot fires over the valley of recent days. That's not Earth cult. That's something else.
If I'm misspeaking or if I'm misremembering, definitely let me know. But Phil might remember Locke talking to the snake guy about the other cultists. And aren't you at war? And I think he mentioned, no, we're working together or something. Is that knowledge that Phil heard or remembered during his time down there?
Yeah, you would definitely be able to recall that sort of information. How do you want to play that out as a character?
Yeah, that's if there's other cultists, definitely tied to these guys, because I remember them talking about fighting each other but helping each other, and I didn't really get it, but I can definitely say that there's a connection.
Does he remember about the orbs of destruction? Because that was definitely mentioned a few times, and we were around the the wizard. Sorry, not the lich who mentioned it as well.
No, I did an intelligence roll just in case, and he did. It's not something that comes to mind.
Fair enough.
Havi just sort of continues on saying, each of the elements have their own cult, and each of these cults have their own deity they worship, and they're zealots, extremists, their only interest is elemental chaos.
Sound like very dangerous people.
Yeah, it's a shame I can't retell the story of how they tried visiting the other cultists and got just laughed at or pushed away because he was not there for any of that.
That's true. But we do still have a focus point of the monastery itself.
Yeah.
Noel says to Tabitha, he's like, so you said that there was a chest and they put it in the middle of the town. She nods just very vigorously.
Havi also sort of mentions the chest had a sinister energy.
Noel asked, go on.
That's what drew me to the location in the first place.
Yeah, now
What
that
was
you
in this
mentioned,
chest?
there was like a light or something, a shockwave that was coming out, because that and then the rain, and I had to land, so...
A pulse of blue energy.
Yeah, that.
Noel's like, come with me, and he leads everybody into the chapel.
Go into the chapel.
Thank you.
Phil lingers outside briefly because he doesn't like inside at the moment. It feels cloistered and potential for being attacked, so he'll kind of linger at the door and just watch everyone.
Gets to wait out there with a lady.
That didn't work.
Teleportation time.
But you.
I got this map. I want to use it.
Yeah, no.
That's pretty cool. Got some bread and wine going on here, yeah.
I mean,
Communion.
it is stew o'clock. Spanish chicken and lentils.
Yummy.
Noel starts digging through some paperwork that he's got going on. He's like, I mean, I got some scrolls here. Maybe some tomes with some information. Maybe just bear with me. It's not much, but it might have some sort of explanation.
See if you can find a pass sign. It seems the group was trying to find that.
I'll go to Noel and say, would you like me to give you a hand with these scrolls? Make this a little faster for you.
I mean, that would certainly help.
What are we looking for?
I mean, you'll know when you see it, and he pulls out several tomes. They're a bit dusty, and you start to flick through them, and there's information here on, like you start to find information on cults and all that sort of stuff. Give me trying to think what. Oh, it's so much easier if it was Dr. Croker.
Investigation? Because you're actively trying to search through stuff?
Yeah, with advantage.
Investigation with advantage. Okay.
Plus one.
Plus
That's a
one.
19.
Dirty 20 then.
19. No, 19 all up.
Good roll. So, you come to a page in the book, and you find some obscure reference, and you start relaying questions between Havi, Phil, and what you see in front of you. And you start to piece together that from what you're reading and from what they're explaining, that was a devastation orb, a water-based devastation orb.
Mm-hmm. Does it have any more details on what it is, what it does, how it works?
There's a countdown, an unknown amount of time. It's contained when it's inside a chest. When it's exposed, the countdown is essentially started. This particular one causes flooding, torrential rains and flooding.
Okay.
And it usually happens it up to 1 mile radius.
Does it mention anything about the kind of chest it has to be housed in? To be
Those details are vague.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll explain. From what you've explained to me, it sounds like this is a devastation orb, which is a very dangerous item. And they usually keep it inside of a chest of some kind to house its power. And when the lid is lifted, it eventually activates and it can cause some real damage. So it appears that they have used a water devastation orb of some kind, and this is very, very worrisome. I need to report this. I looked at Knowles. I was like, "Can I borrow this tome for a few hours? I need to report this in and get some men in here as soon as possible about this, because if this is true, we're going to need more people."
I mean, sure. Why not? You also find within this book Hydra, which is the princess of evil water.
Okay, sorry, what was the name again?
Hydra.
Hydra.
O L H Y D R A. Hydra. Hydra.
Old dude face.
Hail Hydra.
This acquiescent creature is the goddess of water, essentially. And you, from your deduction and investigation with help from Noel, you determine that if anything, it'd be the water cult's influence that caused the devastation orb in Westbridge.
Okay.
It sounds like they were kidnapping people and covering their tracks by drowning the town? Maybe?
You might be onto something.
Noel says, I mean, according to the text, they just trying to wash everything away. I don't think this necessarily was about taking prisoners.
Her parents were taken, so, I mean... And the Earth dudes had slaves, so... Maybe people are involved. Innocent people are involved.
We can only hope.
Alright, well, with his information, I'll mention to the group, just like, I will return in about an hour. I need to report this. And I head out.
Okay. At this point, we're going to take a 20-minute break.
While he reports. Cool.
And, yeah. So, what were we doing before we left?
I've gone to report.
With the tome.
Imdar.
The term.
Ah, the tomes. We already had the tomes.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
Yesterday.
Right.
Now he's dead. Someone has killed him. No.
Done.
He's like, no, I can't let this reach out further. I can't have an army involved.
And they killed that horse that they found.
Rolling for intent. Maybe he was assassinated. Rolling for intent.
Look, there's a candlestick missing, and there's wax in the kitchen.
The butler did it.
Yes.
Son
Okay.
of a bitch. There we go.
So, you make your way down to the shack,
Take it away.
the house,
Thank you.
the building.
Mm-hmm.
And
Domicile. Yep, keep going.
you knock on the door. And you get a, yes, come in.
He's a mimic, get him! Alright, yeah. Alright, walk in. I was gonna say, it's alright, but it's like, why would I talk like that?
Yes, how, and he responds, yes, how can I help you?
Yes. I've come back with more reports for you, and I think you may have been right about some few things. And I offer him the tome, open up to the page that's focused on the devastation orb and what's been happening recently. And I also entail the information about the monastery, which I think I did last night as well. Now that Phil has returned as well, I'll explain like their involvement. What's been going on?
Interesting. Cultists, you say?
Mm-hmm. And he's like, turns out I'm a cultist! Ah! It was me all along! Sorry. I'm relating my own story, yes, I'm sorry.
Give me an insight check, please.
Inside.
Oh god.
That's something good. Where is that character, man? Inside 16.
Something seems off about his responses.
Ruh-roh.
Hated was never seen by.
Yeah. That was fun. Good,
He,
good chat, everybody.
So, I mean, yeah,
Cultist
there's
was
something that
there?
doesn't seem right.
As in, like, he doesn't seem panicked like he did before.
He's definitely calmer, that's for sure.
Alright, well, then I ask him, so we got to report this through? I'm assuming you will. You definitely were adamant about it yesterday.
Yeah, of course I will. I'll get right on this.
That's the classic. That's the classic response for post. Like, I'm definitely not doing the thing you're going to ask me to do.
You betcha.
I got you, buddy. Actually, you know, better yet, that's alright. In this circumstance, I'll say, like, you know what? I think this is actually bigger than this is definitely bigger than we need to. Than I thought it would. There's the word. Than I thought it was. I'll actually deliver this myself. Do you have Quill?
Quill? What? I don't understand.
Parchment Quill.
He starts to look around. Quill, parchment. I'm sure I've got them around here somewhere. Bear with me one moment. And he goes out the back, and he spends a bit of time. He finally comes out with several sheets of paper and ink and a quill. Of course. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry it took so long.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I begin entailing all the information that I told him onto this page, onto this parchment. In detail.
I feel like that should be a roll.
A roll? What, to write down information?
But it's about how well you transcribe that information and how well you recall all the information you're transcribing. Does that make sense?
Performance
Sure.
check.
It goes from bad roll being bad man do bad thing in letter to full information.
Splash understands. Give me just a history check, please.
That's cocked. So try again.
No.
Is that a nat one?
Bad man do bad thing.
Is that, look at that.
Bad
discretion. Is
man
that a
do
nat
bad
one?
thing.
Come, please help me, please.
What was your roll?
What's the thing for again? History.
History check.
6.
Okay, it's not as bad
Roll
as
up.
one.
No, I
You know,
rolled a
I've-
2. Rolled a
You know, I've just realized I forgot how to write.
I'm
Hard
proficient with
brain dump.
calligrapher's tools.
You write down everything that you can record, and you're scribbling fast, and you're writing quite quickly, to the point where it's practically illegible. But it seems fine to you. Can read your handwriting. That's fine. Everything seems fine and dandy to you. He gives you an envelope, and you put the information, the address that it's like that. I mean, that there's a postbox outside. If you, or I can mail it for you. It's up to you.
I better take care of this myself. I'm on the way out anyway.
Rightfully so. I wish you all the best.
This is fully what I imagine the note to look like.
Fully what you imagined. What? Sorry, you're a bit quiet.
This is fully what I imagined the note to look like.
That's Russian cursive? Holy shit, is that for real?
Yeah. Russian cursive is a whole new beast.
I feel like I should be listening to Latin music right now. Like, really intense as I'm trying to decipher what that is. Good.
I love
gravy.
it. Thank you so much for sharing. You've made it. Today's a good day. Okay, so yeah, you post it outside, and it's all going as well as could be. You
Cool.
make your way back to the chapel.
Alright. I head back. Done a good job, people. Doing it for the troops. Anyway.
He's a team player.
Team player.
Smells like team player.
You.
During the time he was away, can I ask the priest man
No.
for more details on... I don't care what his name is.
Yeah.
You holy man.
Yeah. Just more information on the, what's happened to Guy, the status, so I know what to expect. And say I find her in pieces, is that something that I need to?
No, do it in role play, so I can answer your question in role play.
All right, where is he?
Because
I'm gonna walk up to
hypotheticals, you
him.
could ask anything. I can hypothetically answer anything.
Oh, the roof just came down on the.
That's right. If you double right
is
click
that
on
him?
the ground surface, it will autofocus. Yeah, he's the one in the knight armor, Noel Nickelwater. The old tab, it tells you the character's name.
Yep. All right. So I walk up to him after I finished eyeing Phil off. I want you to tell me more about what my daughter is afflicted with. He said she was turned to stone. I assume that I would be vaguely aware of what that might mean, but I want you to give me more information.
And he starts going into detail. He's like, well, I mean, I only have the bare minimum of information that your associate Phil has given me, and I mean, from what we can recollect by and what knowledge we can put together with Hilter's insight and what I've been told, it just seems like, for all intents and purposes, a young guy has been turned to stone. Sorry, did you say daughter?
Yes.
And you called her guy?
Yes.
Busted.
No judgment. No judgment here. I just was trying to understand make sure I was saying the name correctly. I mean, for all intensive purposes, she has been turned into stone, and I know from my clerical training that a greater restoration can cure one of being petrified. I mean, I'm not quite at that level myself, but it's definitely something I'm working towards. I promise you that. There are clerics of greater ability than I, but they are, I mean, of that talent is extremely rare. Extremely, I mean, you'd be lucky if you were able to get one in Waterdeep, and I say lucky that they would even be able to travel out here, let alone be able to find one. But really, you named her guy? Sorry. I mean, the scroll would definitely cure the affliction. Like, I swear on my God.
Okay.
Gaia is short for Gaia.
Not in this case.
It's short for man.
The explanation is irrelevant to Lady anyway. Doesn't care about explaining her actions. If I could bring her back here as a stone person, could it be done anywhere? Does it have to be done in the same place? Like, she doesn't know magic, so all that well.
Noel goes on to describe. No, by all means, as long as they are in one piece and in the correct place, then no problems. No problems at all. Any cleric could bring them out of this petrified state they're in.
And one piece, you said.
Yeah. Let me be completely clear that it would be detrimental to them were they to be in more than one piece. I mean, I would hazard it as a guess. It's probably not best to even try moving her. The risk involved and the weight that they must burden being stone is incomprehensible. What you ask and what you want to do is so dangerous. I wouldn't even attempt shifting her yet a millimeter, let alone trying to traverse her across all sorts of terrain for a day's more travel or so. I assume that it would take you several days to get back here with someone weighing as heavy as she does.
Boom. That causes a bit of distress. She is a bit more, I guess, eager to leave now. She will turn away from him without a word.
What
Just
you
owns the
don't,
shit.
what you don't hear is the cleric start muttering under his breath and says, "Why would she name her guy? That doesn't make any sense to me at all." You carry on.
Same reason she named her sword Spoon.
So what?
That's not true. That's not true, Ashley. Stop that right now. In the other campaign we're in, she made my character seasick. So
The mighty Spoon has seen many a battle.
The mighty spoon. Don't mess.
where is
Love it.
Hilda? Okay, she walks past Hilda and she just sort of stops for a moment and is like, sorry for your loss. And walks away. She's a bit sad, but she is still quite unhappy with Hilda for hindering her.
You don't hear, but Hilda says, "Blessings to you, and hopefully peace become to you and your family."
And now Phil. Anyway, I make my way over to Phil.
I'm ready to escape through the door if necessary.
I'm just gonna be like, you are going to take me to where you saw my daughter.
Well,
And you're gonna take me now. You try any more of that magic funny business, I'm gonna be a bit unhappy.
now wait a minute. We gotta make sure. Is it just us two, or anyone else coming with us? Because there were a bunch of us back there, and it was a hard time. So, I mean, if it's just us, that's fine. But I wouldn't recommend it.
They can do what they want. I don't care.
Lady Pierce feels a watchful presence arrive right next to her as she hears Havi say, "Leave the small one alone."
Yeah, she's just like,
Or what?
I don't want to hurt him. I probably won't hurt him. He
But
will, however, take me to where I want to go. He left my daughter behind. He's going to show me where she is.
And Havi sort of just sizes her up a little and says, "Hasn't there been enough hurt?"
I'm willing
No.
to chance getting her daughter back. It's okay. I'm the one who failed them.
Lady just sort of goes, huh. And she sort of turns back to Havi and is like, there's plenty of hurt for the ones who did this to my daughter. And she just sort of walks out.
On that we can agree.
She leaves the chapel and waits outside.
He
she
leans
doesn't
into
go anywhere.
Javi and goes, "Thank you."
Havi just nods.
It's not long after Lady Pierce is standing outside that she sees Kainen making his way towards her.
I hath returned.
It's about early afternoon at this point. Is there anything the party would like to do?
Head out immediately.
Mm.
I will not force Phil to go. Unless he takes several days.
Right, as in waiting. What do you mean, like, as in, like, just taking several days to travel to get there. So run faster, bitches.
So
I would like to sort of encourage that we move quickly because from what the priest told me, the holy man, the longer she's kept in stone, the higher the chance that she is damaged beyond repair.
Can you roll me deception, please?
Who?
Will.
Well,
Because he
I can
didn't say
roll
that.
deception. No. It's more she's trying to, like,
It's a 19.
from what he said, that she's in stone. Any damage would be bad for her, and she's in a very dangerous place at the moment.
That's fair. You did say, though, that the longer she's in stone, the worse it is, which can be misinterpreted quite well. But nobody's passive perception is high enough to beat your deception of 19. So, people sort of nod and hold their heads, like they understand that your distress and how concerned you are, and they don't necessarily. Does anybody? I'm sort of railroading the characters here. How does everybody feel and respond to what Lady Pierce has said?
Havi is particularly interested to get to this monastery because it's his life mission to uphold the balance of the elements, and the Aarakocra are natural enemies of the Earth Cult.
Kainen's ready to head straight off, considering that there's Tabitha's parents might be on the line as well.
Phil's gone a slightly weird route. I'm not sure how to best play this. I'll just say that seeing that this is a mother who is not happy and is very upset and very determined triggers something else inside him. Not enough for him to know why or to recognize it, but it's enough to... I have to help this person drive. I have to help this person or else drive.
Now you gotta help him drive. We are in a cool. Alright. Well, I'll just mention, well, are we ready to head off now towards this monastery, or do we need supplies, or what?
Lady is just ready to go. She's exhausted because of that exhaustion point, but
Yeah.
she looks a bit tired, but she's ready to move on.
Havi's familiar with this area. Is there a nearby place that he would be able to indicate to the rest of the party as a safe place to spend the night, so that we're at least on our way?
You don't know any place specifically, but you will have advantage on survival checks to locate the party in a safe area.
Okay.
but like travel, you don't know how far you, like as familiar as you are with the area, you don't know how far you'll get before the sun sets. Because you're so familiar with the area, you will be traveling at a decent pace.
Well, Havi and Goose Springsteen will be flying to sort of scout out ahead as well.
No worries. So, party sets out. Was there anything else anybody wanted to do before we go?
Just ask the cleric for blessings for the journey. You know, please pray for us.
He does some symbols. Also, in that investigation that Kainen was doing, he didn't necessarily find... Like, he found the symbols of the cults, but he didn't find any hand gestures in regards to symbols that the cult actually did. And he relays, like, shows you the images of each cult and what they look like. But that's as much information as you get. So the party sets out, and
The term is back to normal, by the way. What I
yes,
borrowed. Yep.
you return the tome after transcribing what you could. And yeah, you guys set out. It's a little after midday, so you get a number of good travel hours in. And it's weird because there's no wind at all. It's dead silent, but you do not hear any birds chirping. There's no wildlife that can be seen, even from the sky. Everything just seems dead still. But several hours in, Havi, you notice smoke.
A call down to the party. There's smoke.
And you've got Phil on Goose Springsteen right next to you. And you go near this smoke as it's not too far off your general direction anyway. But as you get closer, it just appears to be a small spot fire. Can you give me a perception check, please?
Yep. 19.
Okay, 19. With the 19, you spot a little glowing, moving figure, sort of moving through the brush. And as it moves, you see little fires continue to just start. And it is unusually dry here at the moment. But I'm sorry, I'm just bringing up No. You see a small, fiery, blazing hot looking creature. You determine this to be a magmim. And it's just one, but that's the little creature, small creature that you see. I've posted a picture in chat.
Seems friendly.
I call down to the party. Fire creature ahead.
Fire creature.
How does everybody respond?
What's that? I'm alert. Not sure what to do about a fire creature at this moment, but be alert.
I am dismissive.
Phil, you're in Goose Springsteen. You're traveling up near with Havi. How do you interpret this?
Do I see it, or do I just hear her call it out?
Give me a perception check. Since you know the area it's coming from, the DC is lower.
Well, that's only a 9.
You see the smoke, and but you can't make out anything amongst the brush or the trees.
Now, you said the trees and brush were dry?
Everything, like, for the amount of rain that's happened recently, it's ridiculously dry. By comparison, you would expect some more humidity.
With that little bit of information, I might call down. This might become a bigger problem if we don't look into it first. I don't know if they can hear me from way up high. It might be.
So, Javi and Phil, what are you guys doing?
Havi will draw their longbow.
Phil will kind of like get a little lower to try to get a better eye on the creature and what's the potential threat to the fire and forest.
So, Kainen, you see what's going on, and you see them moving in the direction. You can sort of make out the smoke trail on the horizon line. Well, where you can see over the canopy of partially sparse trees and through the hills. Lady Pierce, what are you doing? Because you see the party moving in that direction. Kainen's hasn't done anything yet, but you see the other two up above sort of move that way.
I'll move towards it, where they're heading.
So right now, your guides have almost abandoned you.
I have to follow Phil. Can't let him out of my sight.
This might be the way.
So I'm just gonna alter course and go wherever he's headed.
Splash, you spot this little burning creature. What do you do?
I will shoot my longbow.
For a roll to attack, please.
Hazel, look out. Come on. Sorry, the cat's in my dice tray.
Roll the cat.
It's a 19 to hit.
Roll damage for me, please.
I will also use my bonus action to cast Hail of Thorns. Next time you hit a creature with a ranged weapon attack, the spell creates a rain of thorns that sprout from your ranged weapon or ammunition. In addition to the normal effect, they take an extra D10 piercing damage if they fail a DC 15 dexterity save.
Roll for me, please.
The damage?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh my god, Hazel, stop.
But I like the dice tray.
Yeah. Alright, so the damage from the longbow is 9. And then the damage from Hail of Thorns It's 10.
Wow. So this arrow glides through the air silently as you just hear the release of the string on your bow, and the arrow just sinks through the skull of this creature, and it drops to the ground, and the flames sort of wither and die out almost instantly as it turns to charcoal black and sort of just lays there in the grass, no longer setting fires.
I'm going to try to reach out and get close to any flames that it left behind and try to prestidigitation them out.
You do so, no worries at all. These are very small flames. You seem to have got to them extremely early, before this is even a fire.
Since it was catching fire, does it show where it came from? Like, is there a path where it was walking through?
Give me an investigation check, please.
I'm not smart. I'm really not smart. 4.
You don't determine any direction it's come from.
Gotcha. False alarm. Sorry, guys.
Mhm. Someone forgot to take it and put out their campfire.
We didn't start
Um,
the campfire.
Does Havi recognize this creature?
Give me a
As-
history check, please.
Ooh. Dirty 20.
30-20. You recognize this creature, not entirely, but you know it's not of the material plane. Like, this doesn't behave in normal physics of what you're used to. This definitely seems to have been some sort of demonic creature.
Okay. I will swoop down and relay that to the party.
I just realized that Harvey was flying and then drew. Wait, is Harvey's hands the wings? So
The way I pictured it is him shooting with his feet.
yeah, because I'm like, it's the feet, right? Yeah, so it's actually happening. Or is it like, I'm gonna commit to this and like free fall, like really dramatic free fall?
Because like some Aarakocra characters that I looked at have wings and a set of arms.
Mhm.
Yes,
But I wanted to make it that he's like he treats his wings like his hands.
Mhm.
But he's able to use his feet in attack, like the talons as an attack as well.
So kind of closer to a harpy.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Has the rest of us caught up with this little event?
I think we'd probably take off and just keep leading again.
you guys progress further, and it's still dry, but you hear, or you see some flashes, and then you hear the crackle of thunder. But like, you see flashes within the clouds forming within the sky. You don't see anything coming to the ground. But just you hear very low rolling thunder.
And is it in a direction away from where we were heading?
It seems to be extremely far east from where you are. Further east than where you're headed.
So we can continue on then.
Does anybody have anything they want to do or say?
Well, do we just walk past this little gremlin dude? That's what's happening. Like we actually made it there to see what happened, or is this like?
Well, if you were following me,
test
you
resolved?
probably would have encountered it. So what you do with that is up to you guys. If you look at it, nod, and move on, or stop to examine it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure out of curiosity I look at it, but I'm not sure if that requires a roll out of curiosity.
So you're investigating or not?
Perception,
sure.
or just on passing, maybe.
Give me an investigation check, please.
Just 12.
This doesn't seem to be of this world, but you're not too sure. You've never seen anything like this before.
Okay. Continue on.
Okay. The sun's beginning to set. The thunder's still cracking in the distance. Havi, can you please give me a survival check with advantage, please?
Certainly can. 15 plus 7. 22.
Whew.
Nice.
Excuse me. 22 is great. You find an outcropping of land. Seems to be secluded. There's some rock features with some scrub, a little bit of trees, but it's somewhere you'd feel is secluded and out of the way that you gain from your advantage point being so high.
Neat.
Yes.
Yeah, I lead the party to this area. And just say we'll be safe here for the night.
No worry. So you guys just setting up camp? What's going on?
Yeah.
Are there still no animals around?
Give me another survival check with advantage, please.
Nat 20, so 27.
You haven't seen a creature anywhere.
Jeez.
Damn. I relay this information as well because it's unusual to be this far into, unoccupied lands without coming across any creatures.
It's unsettling and quiet.
Yeah, something is afoot.
It's at this moment you guys have set up your camps and everything, and you do have a campfire going, but there's another crack of thunder. This one is a lot closer, and rain starts to fall on your location.
Did the weather indicate prior to hearing that thunder that it would turn?
Give me a nature check with advantage, please.
Nature.
Because I believe that would be part of your abilities.
Oh, dirty 20.
No,
First roll was a 5.
there was absolutely no indication that rain was coming.
Okay. Havi just sort of muses out loud. There's something wrong here.
Is there a good place for shelter around here?
Well, that's what she found. That was the survival check earlier. You've
So
set up
that was
camp.
sheltered.
You've set up camp. It's a secluded area. You've got your tents and stuff up. There's not really much overhead cover apart from your tents and stuff. But you've got a dry place to sleep at least. And after you've set up, the rain starts.
Havi would like to sort of sit almost meditatively, knowing that the weather is unnatural, to see if they can feel a similar energy to that drew them to the flooding town.
But
Would
the
that be a
detection-
roll or anything like that, do you think?
Probably like an Arcana check, I guess.
Sure, give me an Arcana check.
15.
With a 15, like, you definitely felt some sort of energy with the blue orb that you saw, but you're not getting any sort of notion or feeling that this rain is anything similar.
Okay.
It's still unusual, but it's not the same.
Weird question. Partially relevant. The vulture, is that a female vulture or a male vulture?
Nobody's bothered to ask.
Actually, it was mentioned last session.
Oh, can you please enlighten us with the outcome of that?
Goose Springsteen is Harvey's brother.
Brother from another mother?
Missed that.
Well, out of character, you guys know that. In character, you don't really know that.
Well,
I guess.
Phil does, because
That's right.
Harvey was with Phil when he said, nodded to Goose Springsteen and said brother.
So literal brother, not just brother as in brother in arms, brother.
Yes.
So
That's-
Phil might get in trouble for this, but where do we start? He will approach the vulture, and at first he's like, and he's pointing at the vulture, and he's like swiping left, and as he's doing so, he's like, I'm really sorry for your loss, and I know you've been through a lot. How do you feel about the situation? And he stops, finds what he wants, and swipes right. And at that point, he casts polymorph on the vulture and turns it into a gnome, or attempts to.
Okay.
Oh boy.
No, okay.
Let's see. So this is a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
An unwilling creature must make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
But still, it's up to you.
I'm gonna roll for intent. Just because I don't know if this would be a willing creature or not.
Fair.
So if it's close to a 20, you're successful. If not, you're not. Well,
Yeah, I know.
if it's close to a 20, then you have to do a will save. If not, sorry, if it's close to a 20, it doesn't will save. I rolled a natural 1 and a 19.
Oh, but a natural one is on the far end, so.
Yes, so it's going to will save. And it can still fail this will save.
Yeah.
16.
Is that meets beats? What?
It's 15 wisdom save.
So
yeah.
it's saved. It does not transform.
I mean, he still asks the question, but he's like, why didn't that? And he's looking up at his finger, like, what?
Is it the wrong finger? Is it this one?
Does Goose
doesn't-
answer?
Um,
Or did it understand that? Was it capable of? Yeah, it's been answering
what
questions.
was the question?
Well, first off, he was apologizing for the loss. He recognized that it had been going through a lot. Especially recognized no one really talked to him much except Javi, and just kind of, what are your feelings about the situation? And he left that broad in case it wanted to talk about the weather, the nature, the people.
So the vulture lets out a call, a scream, and Harvey, you interpret this not as language, but just as an emotion that's being conveyed, and you hear a multitude of things from sorrow and grief to distress and sadness, and a whole plethora of emotions in that realm.
Havi approaches Goose, and
In the rain.
in the rain, and places a wing over him to console him.
And while you do that, Goose lets out the same caw again several times, and it gets a little quieter and quieter as you approach and you provide this comfort.
Harvey looks at Phil and just says, "He's in pain." He's lost a great deal.
This is Locke, isn't it? As in, that's the lost here.
Yes.
Well, you're not alone now, so we'll get through this together, okay?
Javi sort of chirps down a little to Goose and just says, "I'll avenge your love."
By Grabthar's hammer.
You see a look in Goose's eyes. Doesn't say anything. There's no, but you understand that it's sort of a solemn acceptance, and a almost I'll wait till I see it, and the thank you all rolled into one.
Javi preens him.
Aww. Num 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 num.
Goose Springsteen sort of nuzzles into Harvey.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
Is there anything else the party's doing?
Yeah, I'll mention. I'll be fine to take first watch if others are willing to take other watches for the night.
Javi's fine with night watch.
Phil very briefly looks at his wrist and he doesn't know why, but he's like, I'll help.
Interesting.
Ladies in agreement.
Alright. I begin my watch.
Javi will take second watch from up in the trees.
I'll pull out my cloak to protect my head from the rain. Oh, hood in this case. It's got like a neck thing, but it's half hoods.
right. So everybody. So we have Kainen, followed by Havi, followed by who and who?
Phil will take third watch.
I'll go last.
Oh god.
Cool.
Yeah.
She'll take the angry watch.
Okay, so we begin to progress through the evening, and the rain just gets heavier. Unusually heavy. It's not flooding or anything, but it's almost a torrential downpour, and just you hear the ripples of thunder just rolling through. But apart from that, it seems to be a relatively quiet night. Can I get a Constitution saving throw from everybody, please?
Tiredness.
Well,
Now, since you have level exhaustion, is that a disadvantage, or is that only an ability check?
No,
Some-
that's
Okay.
ability check.
Ability
Sorry, I
check.
wasn't trying to sabotage you.
No, I was actually clicking to see.
There
As you were
is a
saying
level of exhaustion that affects saving throws.
Yeah,
Level 3.
15.
23 for Phil.
3.
You with advantage. You rolled the 3.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage.
2.
Oh,
Excellent. Even better.
Wait,
rolled
Okay,
2,
so
didn't
birds
roll
are
the
not
3.
Was that just Havi?
Everybody cycles a long rest, and Harvey, you now have 1 point of exhaustion.
Damn it.
I gave you guys advantage because you did have formal shelters set up, but you, with your watch and what you decided to do, you end up a little bit soaked, and it goes against your favor for a good night's rest. And so, but the night goes on uneventful. Harvey, you're just the rain doesn't let up, and it's playing with your thoughts. You're trying to piece together why this rain is happening, why it's happening as heavy as it is, and it's causing you to get a restless night's sleep. It's just playing with your mind, and you wake up the next morning. The rain is eased. It's barely spitting, but you're exhausted. You didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the reasoning behind that exhaustion, by the way. That was very fitting.
Isn't he a good DM?
I
So handsome.
I try not to railroad you guys too much.
But it does happen. But that's part of the fun.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so you
So,
guys.
Phil, I'm guessing Lady Pierce is right next to Phil.
You're in the same camp.
Enough.
Yeah, he'll open his pouch and start digging in. It's like, wait, where's the scroll? Where's the scroll? And he looks over at Lady Pierce and goes, just kidding. Joke? Funny? Yes? Trying to lighten the mood.
Man's out here
I like-
gambling with his life.
Yeah, alright.
As he does this, I stick my quarterstaff into one of the boxes and just pull out a halberd. Make sure he sees it.
This is safe. Going back in. Okay. Bad joke.
You
I
got
get it.
a utility quarterstaff. Oh
Yep.
jeez. Oh man. That's dangerous as fuck. Oh man.
Go,
How many other
gadget,
weapon
please.
heads do you have in there? It's probably a few.
All of them.
Oh jeez.
Just all
So
of them.
I got the quarterstaff for the pole arm.
Yeah.
The club for swords and whatever single-handed ones, and a great club for the great axe, great sword, and maul.
He's walking armory is what's going on. Literally that.
That's how she stays in shape.
Yeah, but I can only have 3 of them active.
3.
Which is cool. Yeah. What,
Jeez.
1 each, right? So. Yeah.
It's vague, but as she walks, there's a slight clatter of metal against metal.
Mhm. It's like, unless she's not wearing much metal, you hear a lot of metal. Like,
Disadvantage on
And
stealth
I'm
checks.
not even close.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to being encumbered, so.
Oh my god.
oh yeah, where's the encumbrance level? What does that explain it?
I think you click weight.
Weight carried? Okay.
Yes, definitely ready to continue.
Harvey starts packing up camp and getting ready to head off.
Yeah, I try and check out my things, just try and get most of the water off it, like touch or wet.
You guys mark off a ration each as well.
Mhm.
You have your dinings, and you set forth.
Onwards, lead the way.
And the rain peters out. There's no more thunder in the distance or anything like that. But the wind's picked up, and the grass is just swaying all different directions as this wind, not heavy, but it just blows in many different directions, and it's very, very inconsistent.
Now, how quickly does the grass the foliage dry up, or does it stay wet?
To the eye, it doesn't look wet, but the wind definitely is speeding up the drying process.
Gotcha.
But wooden stuff is still damp.
Yeah, just trying to figure out what caused the place to get super dry after a heavy rain like that. So he's just keeping an eye out.
You can roll for it if you want.
What do you want me to roll for?
What do you think would be appropriate?
Perception, because he's just keeping an eye out. He's not really turning over leaves to see what's going on.
Give me
Maybe
perception.
survival?
Survival, perception, nature, either one of those.
Definitely survival. I'm a little better at that.
Yeah, I'd say
I
survival.
can assist with survival as well, to give you advantage if you like.
Well, it started with a nat 1, and now it's a 10,
Oh.
so... Kids of gnome.
You don't... Well, I can't give you advantage on this roll because it's not something you're alerting to the party or anything like that.
Correct.
Fair.
It's a personal check. With a 10, it just seems unusual, and you're not sure if that's something to do with his realm, or it's something more than that.
Gotcha.
But it just doesn't feel like Kansas anymore, Toto.
Does the wind affect our flying?
Thankfully, it's not, as I said, it's not too heavy. It's not easy to maintain a set course, but for the most part, you're keeping on track with what you need to do.
Okay.
And it's about this point you guys have made it to the chasm, and you, going by what Hilta described, you recognize the ravine that should lead to the monastery. Now, upon visual inspection, you do see the Feathergale Spire, but it is burnt and is crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
and it looks severely damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Do we
Wonder if
like
there are
walk
evolved
past
here
it?
too.
Or...
You're going near the Feathergale Spire, Will. Elliot, what was that?
Oh, it was more like an open statement, just to say, like, I wonder if their involvement is with this too. Must be.
Does anybody want to check out the building?
Is it like, are we going off track to it or in line?
We didn't
You're-
talk about going there. We just see it in
You're-
passing.
You're passing it by,
Mm-hmm.
but it does look like a bit of a husk of a building.
I mean, Phil might call out to Javi like, "Oh, that looks interesting. I wonder what that used to be."
Mm-hmm.
You hear Goose Springsteen let out a guttural call.
Harvey sort of speaks a little bit louder to be heard over the wind, and just sort of nods their head to the Feathergale Spire and says, "That was his home."
Phil goes pale. He's like, "Well, I'm 2 for 2 today. Sorry about that."
Always with the sensitive questions.
Well, he pissed off Lady Pierce, and now it's like didn't realize he upset Goose. It's like, oh crap.
Give me an insight check.
But we're outside.
Get
That's
out.
a 7. I need to check the dice.
You definitely feel like you may have offended Goose Springsteen.
Harvey looks to Goose and just sort of chirps and trills to ask, out of curiosity, if Goose knows who burned down the building.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bird and his communication skills aren't the best, but you learn that it was people in what you determined to be brown garments.
Mm-hmm. The people in brown.
From his description, would I be able to connect dots through my research of who he might be talking about?
Based on your background as an Aarakocra, give me an insight check with advantage, please. Or, yeah, insight. That's good enough.
21.
That was cool. From what he's describing, it doesn't match up that he's talking. You feel like he's talking about the Earth cult, but fire doesn't make any sense.
Like, why would a Earth cultist burn down something? What are you saying?
Out of character, yes.
I kind of want to look through the building.
Yeah, well, because like I'm only following where Phil's going because they're leading the way.
And Phil's only
Essentially,
following
so
where
if they
Havi's
change-
going, so.
I know, I don't want to derail.
You could do I mean, if it's in character of Javi to do a quick check, everyone's going to follow her like a bunch of ducklings.
Mm-hmm. But Phil can be in a circumstance where he's like, well, I know my friends might still be in danger. Time might be of the
Yeah.
Fair. Roll for intent.
essence.
You can.
Alright. What is it? Closer to 20
No. So it's the number furthest away from 10 determines the result. So you're going to have above 10 or below 10. You just need to work out if above 10 is going to the temple or not.
Okay, so above 10 would be staying on this path,
Cool.
and below 10 would be going to the temple,
Cool.
to the spire. Are you gonna be kidding me? Got a 9 and an 11.
Reroll. If it's a tie, you reroll.
A 16 and a 3.
3 is definitely further away, so you would go towards the spire.
Ugh, okay. It's happening.
It's happening.
Well, there could be another scroll of greater restoration in there.
That's good wishful thinking.
It's very much wishful thinking.
I wish that no.
Havi just says, based on the, I guess, Goose's information not making sense as to why someone dressed as the Earth Cult would start fires. Havi says, I want to investigate, and sort of veers off toward the spire.
No worries. Just having a look at the character sheets. Phil, are you proficient in investigation?
I am not. That's intelligence based, and he's not the brightest. So I keep rolling intelligence because I don't want to silly make intelligent decisions unless I roll for him first.
Yep, that tracks. Doesn't seem like anybody's proficient in investigation.
Wait, I'm on the wrong character.
Well,
Give me a minute. That is my Saban Rob. Let us find Phil. And you said what stat?
Investigation.
Charisma.
Oh,
No.
Phil's not the
Intelligence.
most intelligent, so yeah, no. Investigation is +1, but not proficient in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Havi, how are you leading this group? Since they're all following you and you want to stop at this spire.
Harvey has up until now been, flying with purpose in a specific direction. And when they spot the spire, they sort of slow their progression, and you can see they're sort of like, oh, do we, don't we? And then they yell down to the group. There's a building I think we should have a look at. And sort of veers off toward the spire.
Well, I can't really say no because you're already gone. He's gone! He's gone!
We didn't pass the spire.
Ah! Alright, I guess we're going that way then.
One moment.
Uno momento.
Going to the Talespire.
I figure I can bring you guys to this board. So it's still on fire by the last time I edited this map, but the fire is no longer there. So it is a partially burnt out husk. Just to change the scenery, you don't necessarily have to physically explore it or anything.
Yeah.
Unless. Is this the monastery we're talking about? Sorry,
No.
wrong voice again. Damn it! This is this the monastery we spoke about before?
This is where Goose used to live and work. And he was just saying that it was burned down by, I think, the Earth Cult. And I thought we should maybe even just quickly investigate.
Alright, well,
Okay,
I
so
guess we'll make it quickly.
who
Time of the essence.
who is looking through this building?
Havi will.
Yeah, to make it faster, Kainen will.
Yeah.
Kainen will.
Lady is thinking the same as Kainen.
Mhm.
Faster this gets done, the faster we get back on track.
Yeah.
Like Goose Springsteen is letting out a sort of depressing cry, repetitive, just like sorrow cry. Phil, are you investigating this building as well?
Phil is sticking with Goose to try to help console him.
Yeah, Harvey turns and says, "You two stay here and keep an eye out."
Okay. Can everybody give me an investigation check, please?
Can we support each other and make it all of it an advantage?
No, because no one's proficient.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, boy.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Wasn't even
Well, I nat 20'd.
Wow.
Nat 20!
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit.
Where are these rolls coming from? Why weren't you there
Alright.
before?
So, 21 for myself.
Same.
20
20.
for me.
Jeez.
Okay, well, I can't not. I gotta reward those rolls. So
Shit.
you're walking through this building collectively, and
It's just walking around in the building. Like, oh, there's one.
you're,
It's just in the building.
you're sort of started. You start a discussion rolling, and you start forming ideas, and you begin discussing like
Discussing?
your observations of this building. And what you find weird about it is that it's only partially burnt out. Half the structure, part of the structure, is still in one piece. Okay, so with those investigations checks, Kainen, you've seen combat before. And what doesn't make sense to you is you find a partially burned body. But the part that's not burned is really intriguing. And what you gather from this body is that not only does it have piercing wounds or slashing wounds, but it also has bludgeoning damage done to it. Like you see severe bruising and what you perceive as like broken bone that wouldn't not have been done with a bladed weapon.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Everyone else. Oh, I wasn't sure if you're like giving like me information and everyone else as well. Okay. So from my perspective, well, it doesn't seem it wouldn't seem to me like it would be that odd, considering that more than one person could have been attacking this person. So one would have beaten him, one would have slashed and stabbed, I guess. So what I'm deducing is essentially there was many different people wielding different weapons, all just ganging up on one person, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you rolled the nat 20, so what you know of combat and battle is that the sort of bladed weapons don't seem to be that bad, but the bludgeoning damage seems to be horrific.
Okay. So there was like a tremendous amount of force used in these blows, compared to like a typical hit from a typical mace.
Lady, you noticed some unusual rubble. Like, it seems like the earth around it has been moved, not just crumbled in. It seems like the earth itself seems to have disrupted whatever was going on in this fire.
Yep.
Havi, you said you... So everybody rolled a nat 20, is that correct?
No, I rolled a 19 plus 1. So dirty 20 for me.
Nat 20, nat 20. Okay.
Like a 21,
Havi,
20.
something's not adding up here. Like, you bounce off the information amongst each other, and something is not right. You don't know why this place was set on fire. And why it was burnt so poorly.
Poorly burnt. Okay.
Does it look like the fires were set in a specific spot to target that specific spot?
They look improvised.
Okay. Maybe trying to cover something up. Or hide evidence of something.
There's a bunch of spells going off, going wild, possibly.
Okay. So Havi sort of looks around and realizes things aren't adding up, and they think back to some scrolls they read about the battles that the Wind Dukes of Akar endured, and tries to see if any correlations can be drawn to those elemental battles.
Alright, let me just say that that's a big one to draw upon, simply because there's not much lore that you've provided around that. Like, I know it exists, but like...
It's basically just trying to ascertain as to whether elementals battled here, or...
Let me give you an example. It's like saying Little Billy went to school, and that's the information I've got, but we don't know what transportation he took or had. We don't know what the weather was like. We don't know what he wore. We don't know if he had weather protection. Like, there's a lot of elements that can be digressed from such information, if that makes sense. So, if you can sort of be more specific, that will help me be able to give you more information. Like, who did they battle? Like, yeah, I need more information to go by before I can sort of try and elaborate more story for you.
That's fine. I'll have a think about it and draft something up later.
Cool. Make a note of it, and it's something we can come back to for sure. But you make a very good mental image of this place, and various things that just stand out to you. You make mental note of.
Those impact points on that body that I found, would it have been perhaps the same shape of impact done by the Iron Fang that I saw offered by Phil?
It doesn't. You can't tell. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. That's why I was just like, it's like you think about it, it's like, I can't really recall it or not. All good. All right.
But you would. That's a bit of a. It's a bit of a stretch to draw certain conclusions.
That's all good. That's all right. I'll just in case if I do, great. If I don't, it doesn't matter.
Will, what did you want to say?
I was gonna ask, like, with the rubble, is it so it's like sort of loose?
I mean, parts of the
Loose
rubble are
earth.
definitely loose. Some of the earth itself seems to be penetrating this building.
All right.
Like a spike has been driven, or like it's just been like driven up through.
Kind of, yeah, or even like just piercing out at an angle.
Side.
But yeah, same premise. It doesn't look natural, or it doesn't look like it belongs there. Makes more sense.
All right. I'll for roleplay sakes, I'll point out to the group what I found and just say like these wounds on this body is way more stronger than a typical weapon could deal to a human or person of any kind. Really, this person was either really big and strong, or what they were carrying was very dangerous. This person was.
Is anybody here proficient with medicine?
No, I don't think so.
Not proficient.
Where's Dr. Croker when you need him?
I know, right?
Had the same thought.
In a pond.
He's holding soap.
We think.
He's a great ornament. Yeah, no.
Are these?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, please. What was the question?
I was gonna ask, like, are these wounds sort of? There's quite a few of them on the body, right?
There's
like
a
he was
number of
repeatedly
wounds,
struck.
yeah.
Would it be?
Yeah.
Would it be out of the realm of assumption that maybe he was tortured? Because he had like blade cuts as well, right?
Doesn't necessarily seem like they were tortured, but the amount of wounds and types of wounds don't add up. Like, you know yourself, sure, you've changed weapons and done damage in various ways, but you haven't necessarily stopped one attack with one weapon to change to another, like, of this many varieties. Sure, you may have changed once during a battle, but not several times. This looks like, from what Kainen's pointed out to you, and what you know of battle and weapons, since you have such a vast knowledge, is that it seems to have been many different types of implement, and that part doesn't make sense.
This poor guy. I'll just like mutter, this is grisly.
Barbaric.
Careful what you say.
I know, right? It's just one of my trigger words. Barbaric, yes! Alright, cool. Well, that's what we found.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys were doing?
Nah. I think we've gleaned all
Yeah.
we can.
No worries. Yeah, you don't seem to find anything else, but it definitely is strange on various levels. With all the information you concluded and gathered around with each other, yeah, it's something's very strange about this whole shenanigans,
Mhm.
for lack of a better word.
Would any of us know who the Feathergale Spire were? Like even in
Well,
passing
yes.
knowledge?
Only Phil would know. Oh no, not even Phil would know.
I mean, you can give me a personal history check. I don't know.
I think I
Actually,
would. I'm not from around.
Harvey,
Not really from around here.
give me a history check, please. Look for a moderate to high DC.
Well, there's my nat 20.
We're doing great.
24.
We ain't going to
Right.
be hitched. We ain't hitting
See,
shit
when
later.
Phil's not with you, you're doing
Yeah.
great.
Ah.
I'm getting
Victor's
the
weak.
full backstory, lads.
So, you know this area fairly well, and you're familiar with the Feathergale Spire, and the Knights of the Feathergale. You know that they flew many air beasts, vultures in particular. You're familiar that they have slayed manticores, which can be treacherous creatures, but at the same time, you're not sure you agree with those killings, as you see the death of any flying creature to be a sad ending. What do you want to know about the Feathergale Knights?
Javi.
I just was.
Well, this is for Havi, like, and whether she recalls this information and shares it.
Oh, what do you guys want to know?
Well, I was just sort of like thinking, like, as you walk out, I'm like, who were these guys that deserved such a fate? And sort of like say that, not to anyone in particular, but like, it was pretty brutal. So,
Havi, you recall that these Feathergale Knights were warriors of the sky, and they watched over these lands, as much as you could tell. But man, I
They
haven't looked
weren't
up.
cult
Feathergale Knights.
affiliated.
So they weren't what?
They weren't cult affiliated.
They weren't the air cult, I guess is the question.
You don't know of any affiliation with the occult?
That was. Very sneaky.
There's no way I could have worded that. That wouldn't have been deviously sounding.
Yeah, Harvey just says to Lady, the occupants of this building were the Feathergale Knights. They watched over the land and the skies. Goose used to live and work here.
man.
And Havi sort of just looks at the burnt out building with, just a bit of like deflation, I guess.
I wonder who they crossed. Or if they crossed anyone. They got in someone's radar. And they gotten rid of them maliciously in this way.
Hearing that, Lady will like share the strange earth movements, or the strangeness of the earth being inside the building, and say, I've heard talk. You guys keep talking about these cults and everything. Is this what kind of? And she like points to the ruined spires. Like, is this the kind of thing that my daughter was involved with? Did she try to go up against something that could do this? She sort of directs that question to Phil if we like are outside. If he's not, she'll just.
You definitely direct that question towards Phil. So
Are you outside or are you still inside investigating?
yeah,
We're like making our way outside, I think.
Wait, what? What about? What are you asking, ma'am?
Don't hurt me.
She's like, this kind of thing.
I
Was
don't
it
know.
done by some cults or?
We just did a jailbreak, and they were trying to kill us and keep us from getting out. I don't know what they were involved in, or if they could do this kind of stuff.
Then I'll direct the question to everyone. Like, are they capable of something like this?
This is but a glimpse of their demented zealot power.
Is that wait? Is that what a destruction orb does? I think there was talk about that. I could be wrong.
Kainen, what information you gleaned from the booklet, this doesn't seem to be a devastation orb that's done this. It's up to you if you relay that.
I'll mention it to say, like, I only read about this water devastation orb that worked only with the weather and the rain and the flooding, but nothing to do with something like this. But I guess if it were, it would have done something on a grander scale than this, I would think.
You also recall that devastation orbs can affect a radius of up to a mile.
So, this is a much confined circumstance, not nowhere near a mile's worth of damage. So this was done by just men or cults.
So were the fire guys involved in this, do you think?
Well, considering what I've heard from the lady, it may have been more the Earth cultists who have been involved here. If they moved the Earth to make this thing happen,
Oh, okay.
quite possibly. But I don't know their involvement with other cults. You did mention yourself that they have been working together in some ways, so perhaps they did. Maybe both fire and the earth had met in here and attacked these people.
Because there was that fire thing in the forest we passed. I don't know if that was just a normal occurrence. He looked at Havi. Do fire things walk in forest very often?
There's an unbalance of elements in this area,
Oh, that makes
and
sense.
fire creatures shouldn't be roaming lands like that. Someone is summoning something.
Perfect timing on that music. But
Yeah, I know, right?
just the doom. Lady will gather her stuff up and say, then, if this is the scale of things that we're dealing with, we need to move. We need to hurry.
What time of day is it at this point?
Agreed.
It's early afternoon.
Oh, okay. Time for 11Cs.
We should make haste. Havi starts gearing up to take to the sky again.
And you guys get ready and you prepare and you make your way around the chasm. You based on the directions and have your familiarity with the area, you know that this monastery is not far away, and you start to realize. So you guys pull through this chasm, and you arrive at the monastery, but the doors are open. Place looks completely abandoned.
Were we expecting to find people in the building? I looked at Phil.
Phil just is very pale and just staring blankly at the building. Almost as if he does not want to go back in there.
Havi puts a wing over Phil's shoulders. Doesn't say anything, just sort of tries to comfort him, I guess.
Well,
And the pointy end of the halberd pokes him along.
I did kill a lot of them with fire. So I don't know who's left, but there are some left deeper down. I've seen.
Well, if you're uncomfortable going in, tell me where to go. I will lead the way, and you just tell me from behind there.
Okay, so it's probably better if I guide
Second
you.
start of the right, straight until morning.
Neverland.
But he's willing to guide them in, very reluctantly.
Can I do an insight check on Phil to see if he's actually
Got a bit of an
afraid?
accent there. We're bringing Goose with
I mean,
us
yeah,
too.
you can do whatever you do. An insight. What are you checking for?
I am trying to determine if you're actually this afraid of
Yeah, roll an insight
going
check.
back in. Oh, come on. Oh. Either way, I'm pretty convinced.
Well, I don't know. Phil, if you want him to insight, then roll a deception check to see if he understands.
What do you mean to see if he? Oh,
Because that would be how it's contested.
yeah, I got a 25.
Wow.
I'll do it. Jeez.
The one thing I'm good at.
Holy
So-
mackerel.
Yeah, I don't know what Phil, what information would he glean from you?
He looks scared. I mean, if that was the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. he-
It was sort of going to determine. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on Phil. If he's just afraid, sort of less angry towards him,
well,
less hostile, I guess.
seeing, and I'll at least give you this much: seeing his, ever since you've seen him, he's been kind of very pale, sallow eyes. He looks like he's been through a lot, and I mean, he looks scared. He looks trembling. You don't know if he's faking it or if something else is going on, but it looks real enough.
Yeah, well, if this place, like, I assume this place is having a bit of an effect, like, more so than it has before, like, during our journey over, then I will take it a bit slower with it. I will contain the rage.
Always with the rage at this one.
I was stopping so aggressive with him for the moment.
Especially
and sort
after
of just
the joke he
encourage
pulled on her earlier.
Yeah, but now that she's seen that you're you're afraid to go further, she's just slowing down a bit and just
Being motherly?
sort of trying to reassure that nothing is going to happen to him. If we come across anything,
Insight
handle it.
check.
that sort of thing. Sure. I'm not being deceptive.
No, it's fine. I rolled
Sorry.
an 18. I'm trying to determine if he feels comforted by her or not. So I rolled an 18 to insight check. If you want to roll persuasion.
I would argue you
Okay.
could roll persuasion at advantage because Harvey is also trying to comfort him at the same time.
Do you have? Is that...
It's like you got to feel comforted whether you like it or not.
It's a 19.
Okay, he seems a little more comforted, but he's actually still. I mean, you can't tell, but he's still a little more scared of this place than he is of her. But he will at least proceed, just extremely cautiously.
I will go in front of him. And just
Quit
say,
following
"You
me, but
just
in
tell us
front."
where to go. She just sort of goes,
So
a bit of a breath, a bit of a sigh, but moves on.
You do one of those.
Everybody-
I'll lead the way, but stands on the same spot and just kind of marches on the spot.
everybody seems to notice this. You start making your way through the monastery, and you enter the main hall. Bill, you know this place from where you came up from the stairs, but you see dry blood splattered everywhere. You don't know what happened. That was from Drongo, and nobody was there. Yeah. There's dry blood on the floor. Like you can all determine that a great battle happened here. No roll necessary. But I mean, you can be as concerned or not concerned as you like.
This was not me. I don't know what happened here, but it definitely was not me. Although it was done when I was leaving, so no telling.
So this is an old battle,
Yeah.
older than yours.
Yes.
Harvey would like to be on like ultra high alert, trying to listen out and see any potential oncoming threats.
No worries. By the way, when I got you to roll that check at the Feathergale Spire, it should have been a disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
Nah.
Ah, yeah.
But that's okay. But that's okay.
She had an adrenaline rush that helped her get through that roll.
Bill, you actually bypass. You don't go down those stairs that you thought you would. You actually go down stairs that down the side alley. What are you guys doing with Goose Springsteen?
Well, Goose was outside when he met him, so it probably sure the party that reassure Goose, we'll be back. Just just whatever you did last time, just do that. Unless they want to bring him in.
Definitely, maybe.
Caskets.
Well, I guess ask her.
no.
Ask his sister.
I think Goose should wait outside for us, and if we don't, come out in a certain amount of time, he can just angry goose honk come after us.
But what if we run out of food?
I will
Then we
wait.
can eat the bird. Bird first, ask questions later.
As you make your way down to the next level below, Phil, give sorry, let me just check your character sheet. Give me an advantage roll against intimidation.
What do you mean against intimidation?
So give me an intimidation roll at advantage.
Oh.
He's the place scares him.
16.
You're holding your nerve quite well. You're not scared at all. This place brings back both good and bad memories of escape, but also bad memories of being trapped down here. And
Being knocked out several times.
But you're familiar with this place.
Yeah.
Like you can't. You this doesn't escape your mind.
Gotcha.
It's very familiar too. How do you wish to proceed?
Whichever direction the pool is in, that's the direction I'll try to lead the party.
Well, you know that it's not in this building, but you know there's stairs going down away from this building. Is there anything you want to do in this place for the benefit or detriment of your fellow companions?
Benefit or detriment? Because
I don't know,
I'm not sure what I
He's setting us up.
I made
I'm trying not to railroad you. That's why I
No,
gave
no,
you
it's
a
fine.
polar opposite
I
ability.
I try to linger to try to tune into the familiarity. See what is it that I'm missing, or why it may feel that way.
Wonder if the Lich is still here.
Because he remembers being in prison and them trying to kill him and escaping. So, but if this is a very familiar place, he's trying to remember. And if it happened during our episode, I apologize for not remembering. But if it's something else, he'll at least try to pinpoint that.
No, it's nothing. It's just what's happened. What everybody else as players is familiar with. But I guess I can guide you here. So Phil starts to guide the rest of the party now that he's in a familiar place, and sort of go past the cages where you were kept. And do you say anything about the cages?
I guess he would kind of give a little bit of a tour. You know, this is where this happened. This is where we were at. This is where the bad guys kept taunting us through the cages and keeping us from sleeping. And you know, this is where people were sleeping. And I set an alarm to try to alert us if they came out. So he would try to, not like super loud, but kind of mutter enough for the party as they're going through that maybe they can glean a little better of what was going on down here by his descriptions.
Here's my pile of bones.
Here's my treasure room full of goodies.
Not there yet. Pile of bones later.
Lady is trying very hard to be very polite.
Hurry.
In Phil,
The
do you
nerves are getting
mention,
to her though.
Phil, do you mention Guy and the cage that she was locked up in specifically? Or you just
Would
speak
I have
generally?
seen where they were? Because I knew that everyone else were in the other cages.
Well, it doesn't matter if you knew whether she was. Do you mention her by name? Is more the question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Guy, I would say Croker, I would say Locke. So yeah, I would mention, you know, he might even throw in there, you know, I messaged Croker because it seemed like Locke may have been getting a crush on me, but I could have been misreading signals. So.
Will, does Lady Pierce respond in any way when she hears Guy's name?
Yeah, she's sort of barely keeping it together at this point. Like, you can't tell if she's about to explode into rage or if it's just like nerves, worry.
Yeah, he will gush a little about each person and how amazing they've been and how Guy was always there. You know, I'm not going to let someone fall again, and you know, just just dealing blows and locking her little mechanical spider, and just her ingenuity, and Dr. Croker and his healing bombs, and just fun demeanor. And so it actually helps. It's actually calming his nerves talking about that, remembering some of the good times and kind of playing up their heroics.
And you walk past the tunnel which you escaped, and you pointed out and mentioned Hilter and everybody else that you freed.
Yep.
And then you come to the staircase where you have to descend to get to the place where everybody remained. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.